going on YouTube? I know it's been a while since our last video, but in this video I want to talk about a recent lesson that I've been kind of learning and I think will be really valuable to all traders who are trying to improve their craft. But first things first, let me introduce who I am. My name's Omar. I'm a 20-year-old day trader. I've been day trading for almost 3 years now, and on this channel I'm trying to document my journey from going from unfunded, unprofitable to a consistently profitable full-time trader. My goal of this channel is to document my whole process. So that means the wins, the losses, the lessons, the failures, whatever it is, I'm trying to document everything so I can give you guys and myself a full transparent view of what it looks like trying to become a full-time profitable trader. So with that being said, let's go ahead and get into the topic of today's video. The first things first, I want to say everything that I'm going to say, I want you to take with a grain of salt because it is my insights, it's my experience. You should take with a grain of salt if you're looking to take it and just try it out and see how it works for you. But what I've learned is decision making is a high quality skill to have as a trader. It's nothing brand new. It's not rocket science. Everyone pretty much should know this, but it is something that I'm learning to cultivate a little bit more. I really want to become a good decision maker. Now, I still don't know what that truly means. I have to kind of figure that out. But what I've been dealing with last week is, or just this week in general, is I've just been trying to figure out what makes a good decision versus a bad decision. Because I have recently been reading this book called How to Decide. It's a great book talking about decision making and how to increase your skill in it. But the biggest point that they make at the beginning of the book is just saying that you can't tie the outcome of your decisions to your decision quality. Then that is something I suffer from a lot. I used to tie every decision I made based off of what the outcome I got. So if it turns out I got a good outcome, I made a good decision. If I turn out I got a bad outcome, I made a bad decision. Taking this approach really led to me beating myself up for a lot of decisions that I make that just turned out to have bad outcomes. And one of the biggest things she talks about is outcome bias. What that essentially is when you tie your decision quality to your outcome quality. So for example, if you ran a red light and you didn't get hit, it's a good decision that you made, you saved time. If you ran a red light and you did get hit, it was a bad decision that you made. Well, in both cases, both of those decisions are bad decisions simply because the downside is much higher than the upside, and then the downside is much more likely to happen than the upside. So what I recently been learning is that when it comes to making better decisions or higher quality decisions, it's just making decisions where the possible outcomes are, number one, in your favor, and the likelihood of those possible outcomes are in your favor as well too. So what this simply means is that if, let's say, I want to make a decision and the decision comes with 5 possible outcomes, and I actually don't mind 3 of those outcomes happening. 2 of those outcomes I really don't want happening, but 3 of those I don't mind. 1 of those outcomes I really want happening. So then the next step is to look at the likelihood of all 5 of those outcomes from happening. So let's say that the outcome that I really don't want has a 2% chance of happening. The outcomes that I don't mind all have maybe a 25% chance of happening. And then the outcome that I really want has a higher chance than all of the other outcomes. When you make that decision, you can rest assured knowing that the decision is a high quality decision. So now let's get into some context. Today I took a trade that didn't play out in my favor. When I took the trade, I thought the odds were going to be in my favor, it being bearish, and it turns out it didn't play to my odds. All good. It presented a new decision though, whether to close the trade early and only realize a small loss or to hold the trade completely and see what had happened. I had chose the decision to close the trade early and realize a small loss. And the reason why I chose the decision to close the trade and realize a small loss is right here because I have it written down. First one, the hourly time frame looked really ugly. I'm not going to get into how it looked. If I have a screenshot, it'll show up on the screen. Second, it respected the hourly level, but it kept retesting it every time it rejected. So there's an hourly resistance. Think, okay, cool, price went up to it, it rejected, it came back, it rejected, it came back, it rejected. And then while doing this, each candle was breaking above the previous candle highs. Third thing, the 15-minute candle looked really bullish, and also it broke in the previous 15-minute candle, which was also really bullish as well too. And fourth, I had to realize that the only reason I would hold this trade, the one reason I would hold this trade compared to the 3 reasons why I wouldn't hold this trade, is simply because the hourly level did not get rejected or disrespected yet. So those were the factors that went into my decision of closing the trade early. Now, I hadn't looked at the charts all day until 30 minutes ago, but I was contemplating, did I make a good decision? The answer is yes. And the answer is yes, simply because when I looked at it, I had multiple reasons to close the trade one, which means that there was a higher chance of it hitting my stop loss than reversing all the way down and hitting my take profit. So it was a higher chance of the outcome that I don't want of happening versus the outcome that I do want of happening. In realizing that, I realized that the decision I made was a well thought out decision, and I had to live with whatever the outcomes were. It turns out that the trade did indeed break through that hourly levels high and turned out to be on a bullish trend. But now I can learn from my decision. So now I have came out of this decision with 3 new insights. The first insight is that if I see a level constantly being retested after it rejecting, I should be a little worried. The second, if I see an hourly level looking really ugly at the time of my entry, I should be a little worried. Third, if I see a 15-minute opposing side candle getting broken, I should be worried. These are all insights that I was able to make and take away from this experience today because I wrote down the factors that made my decision. So whenever you are trading and you are faced with the decision to close, to take a trade, whatever it may be, write down the factors that led to you making that decision of taking a trade, closing the trade early, or whatever decision it is you have to make in trading. Thus, you can learn from your decisions and become a better decision maker, which in turn will make you a better trader. With that being said, I hope you guys enjoyed. If you're looking for my updates, they will now be on my Twitter. My Twitter is @ShaneGabOmar. You can just go to my Twitter and you'll be able to see the updates because it's a lot easier to keep you guys' update on there rather than on YouTube. Well, until next time, peace and love, and you guys take care. Bye-bye.